Here I am. Ta-da. Okay. Ramon Savoy was the former owner and publisher of the Las Vegas Sentinel Voice, was the black newspaper in Las Vegas. And we've been friends for many, many years. And I was very honored that he invited me to be on his show today, his radio show. So you're going to hear the conversation, but you're only going to see me. Because if I do too much, I might mess stuff up. So right now it sounds like maybe you'll be able to hear the whole conversation, which tonight you have to tune in at 7 p.m. on Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I have some special things to show you tonight. I have a special guest. My guest is Mr. Jan Waddell, Attorney Jan Waddell. We're gonna talk about the new trial coming up. We're gonna get his take on where we're positioned in the legal system to move forward and get some things done and some laws put in place. But I thought the best person to talk to that has probably a very colorful approach to the legal system. And that's our very own Jan Waddell. So tune in tonight at 7 o'clock, and I got a world premiere on my show. Something that was very touching for me. So I'm going to show you some things that have I've been looking at over this past week. And
hello.
Cheryl, Janis?
Is this Miss? Yes.
Yes.
All right, that's
Miss Carter?
Yes.
Okay, is it Carter Miller or just Miss Carter?
You can just call me Carter. Everybody in Las Vegas knows me by Janis Carter.
Hi, you guys. This is Cheryl Lightford with Like It Is Radio featuring Ladies First. You just had a conversation with me and attorney Sherry Royston. She is the Legal Redress Committee Chair for the Las Vegas NAACP. Now, you guys, I have a surprise for you. I have Miss Carter, Miss Janis Carter. She has her own production company, Jantastic Production Company. She does this show that's kind of similar to what the breakdown is, what they do on Wednesday nights here at KCEP. It's called Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Miss Janis Carter to Ladies First. Hi, Miss Carter. How are you?
I am Jantastic. How about yourself? Hey, Las Vegas.
I am fabulous. Yeah, go ahead and say hi to Las Vegas.
Look, I miss
very familiar with you here.
The only thing I miss about Las Vegas are all my friends. I mean, I miss the music, but I miss all my friends because they were my other family, my extended family for the 30-some years that I lived there. So I'm there in my hearts always.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So now you're in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes.
And I believe in June you started a Facebook Live show.
Right.
And it's called Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Tell us about this show.
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner came to me when I was watching all the protests here in Louisville. We were the city where the murder of Breonna Taylor happened. And watching the protest on the streets, I felt like I was in a time warp and that we had gone back to 1967, 68, when we were protesting just for our rights again. And people were saying, now is the time to have a conversation about race. And so, a light went off. I had an epiphany. And it said, okay, so you facilitate this conversation. That was my calling to do that. Because being a child of the civil rights movement and having participated in it, I demonstrated for open housing here in Louisville, Kentucky in 1968. So I knew that I was not getting ready to go out and do much marching because of the pandemic and all of that. But I felt like there was something else that I can do. And it was more important than trying to do music on Facebook and social media. I thought I needed to maybe set up a situation where I would facilitate this conversation about racism and racist policies. And that's what I've been doing since, well, I really started the show in October of 2020. I was doing my prep for it beforehand. But guess who's coming to dinner? Comes from the movie, Sidney Poitier, and engaged to a white woman whose parents were totally thrown off, and as well as his parents. So they had to have a conversation, but they were having a conversation really without having a conversation. It was just very subliminal. But guess who's coming to dinner is not subliminal. It's all up in your face. So that's how that started.
Okay. And so prior to COVID, to my understanding, you did this show at your home, and you would do it at your dinner table. You would invite local guests, and you would have black-owned businesses to cater, restaurants to cater while you guys did the show. Is that how that worked?
Well, that's how that was supposed to work. But like I said, COVID intervened. That's why I'm doing it on Facebook and YouTube because of COVID's intervention. The premise of the show is that the conversation is held over it's dinner conversation, and my guest would be my dinner guest at my home, at a studio, wherever that's going to happen, and that will be happening come July of this year. That we're going to go live and in person with at least 2 guests, because I'm still going to kind of follow some COVID protocols. We'll have a set design. We'll be at a dining room table. We'll have meals prepared by black chefs in our community. And I've also been bringing in more of the community, the voices, the unheard voices in our community that are doing some of the heavy lifting, organizations that are trying to fight against violence here in the city, organizations that are after school programs for our children. People, our council people. I had on our mayor the other week. I've had on our state representatives, our state senator, and our state representative. I've had these people on to talk about what's going on in our community, and trying to find solutions. That's the premise, that we have these conversations, but we try to get to some kind of end result. We ended up with the Breonna Taylor no knock law here in the city. The state just recently passed Breonna Taylor no knock law, but it was kind of watered down from what the initial bill was presented to the floor by our local representative to the state legislator. And but at least we got something going. So now we're having talks about, equity disparities, and our mayor just came out with a budget this morning, about maybe $100 million that's going to the West. I grew up in the West, in Louisville, Kentucky, and so the show, when it takes off in July, we'll be sitting at a dinner table eating some delicious meals from all these black chefs in the city, and giving them some exposure, giving black businesses exposure, because black businesses all over the country have been having a rough time. So I thought maybe that was something else that I could do.
And your show must be quite important. And I say that because it's not always easy getting the mayor or state senators or representatives to come on to a show. Sometimes I don't care how big a show is or whatever. So for you to be able, to get them on your show, that speaks volumes to what it is you're trying to do.
Well, it's that, and they know me. I'm a hometown girl with a little notoriety in the entertainment field. So me calling on them is just like calling up one of my friends saying, I need to have you on my show. I've not had one individual to turn me down as of yet, and I'm very proud of that. Yeah, it's been very interesting. The mayor, I brought the mayor on because um, he had done some things. I told him, I said, black folks is really mad at you last year. He said, not just black folks, honey. White folks was mad at me. So, it was a conversation that I had with him, but it was a conversation between two friends, and there were no talking points. He just spoke from his heart. So that's what, people don't get to hear when especially our elected officials are on TV. They give sound bites. They just give half of the interview, or they don't get to say everything they want to say. So I gave my opportunity to clear up some misconceptions, about our new police chief. She resigned the day after the killing in Atlanta, where they shot the young man in his back, and then she becomes our new police chief. I was trying to understand that. I was saying, how did that happen? All that baggage, and she gets to be our new police chief. Come on now. So anyway, that's yeah, because they know me from my singing and the things that I've done. I also um, I started a dirt bowl playground basketball tournament here years ago, which has just celebrated 50 years. It's called the Louisville Dirt Bowl, and so I'm known from those two things, as far as singing and the basketball. So now here I am as a talk show host. Who to thunk it?
Community active, yes, absolutely, yes. So, do you see a difference between black on black violence and police brutality? Do you see a difference?
What do you mean? Do I see a difference? There's that. I mean, there is. Go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Well, I mean, they are different. Black on black crime is embedded in our community. We've got one of the highest murder rates in the city of Louisville, and for the past 2 or 3 years, it's been like that. So we're knee deep in trying to find ways to keep the kids from killing each other. We've got programs that, there's a gentleman here that you call him after something has happened or your child has been murdered. I said, but we need programs that, you need to call somebody before it happens. If somebody's beefing and the parents know about it, we have to have intervention. So there's another program here called No More Red Dots. Like they put the little stickers on the maps to show where somebody was murdered. So those are the kinds of programs that every community needs, to help, talk to our children. Let's make a pact. You don't come after my child won't come after your child. And parents are going to be eventually start to be held responsible for these children having guns, because they know they have guns in their homes. I think that's going to come up.
Okay, so let me. That's an interesting thing that you just said, that the parents know that children have guns in the house. Mm-hmm. Do you think parents always know? Because sometimes, as parents, we're in so many different directions, and we're not sometimes just raising an only child. We're raising, maybe 2 or 3 children, and whether we're single parents or not, we're working. It's COVID, it's everything. We do sometimes miss out on things. So do you think that that we always know, or that maybe we just need to pay attention more to what our children are doing?
All of the above. I think we need to pay more attention. You can't turn a blind eye to that. I know a lot of, especially single parents, that especially if it's just a woman in the home, she's trying to tell this child, baby, don't carry the guns. Please don't go out and do this. I know, and then they're telling them, mama, if I'm not strapped down, somebody's coming after me. So you rather that they have it than don't have it, and then you see, parents that maybe some parents might promote it. But then we've also got a gang problem. We've got a gang problem here. as well. So, whenever somebody's beefing, they seem to seek each other out. And then after that happens, then there's retribution. Somebody else is going to come after you because you came after us. And it's just a vicious circle. And it's not just happening in Louisville, Kentucky. I know it's probably going on in Las Vegas, because when I lived there, we had Bloods and Crips, and I ran a Boys and Girls Community Center. But I was in the middle of gang turf. But in order to come into my center, you could not wear bandanas of any color to come inside. And that was through the Las Vegas Housing Authority. And a lot of times now, old folks used to kind of handle kids. Old folks are scared of kids now. So nobody's going to tell anybody else's child, I'm going to tell your mama. They say, go right ahead. She already know.
Absolutely.
And some of these children they're putting the bread and butter on the table as well. So, to find a way that we can work with children. And my whole thing is, I've got a program that I'm going to be sharing with the organization I mentioned to you. My program is called Louisville All Stars. A lot of these kids, they didn't go to college. They're out of high school. They're sitting on mama's couch smoking weed with some more folks that didn't go to college, don't have a job, coming over to mama's house smoking weed, and they figure out something dumb to do, thinking they're going to get some money. Well, these are probably some of our most talented youth in our community. So being a performer, I said, they want to be singers, they want to be dancers, they want to be comedians, they want to be models. Let's teach them how to do what they think they know how to do best.
Yes.
And that way we can take them off the street at least 3-4 hours a day or a week, and make it so that they feel like they've got a chance in society. Our kids here in this city, I have been told, they don't think they're going to live past 18 years old. Now that's sad. So yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, when I heard that, I'm saying, what? They don't think they're going to live past 18. So they're living like every day is their last day. And I think we can do more. The community has to, come out from behind the shadows. We got to be, if we're going to be the village can't be scared, as the kids would say. You got to step out.
Absolutely.
You got to step out on the front lines. You just have to. Otherwise, all of our communities are going to be destroyed. And that's what Mr. Charlie wants.
You're absolutely right, and I like what you said. And what you said, there's definitely some truth. There was a time when our elders would say something to the children. I mean, definitely my age. If you got in trouble, you got in trouble by all the parents in the neighborhood.
Yes, ma'am.
So it was truly a village. But we have gotten to a point where, elders are really afraid to say something to the youth, because you don't know how they may come back at you. So
exactly.
Sometimes we feel like it's just best not to say anything. But one thing that I've learned, and this is with talking to my daughter and talking to nieces and nephews and just teenagers in general, we have to figure out a way to come to them where we're not necessarily coming to them where we're talking down to them like they just don't know anything. We kind of have to get with them on their level to get their attention.
As they say, to come to them where they are. Where they are.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I think that there's a way to approach. You can't, what worked for us back in the day
does not work for them.
Not going to work. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Nope.
Like you said, you have to come down to where they are.
Right.
And approach them from that point, get their attention, and then maybe you can, kind of give them some guidance or some advice or whatever.
Right.
You guys, I'm Cheryl Lightford with Like It Is Radio, featuring Ladies First. I'm speaking to Miss Janis Carter. She is a musician, activist, a talk show host. She has a talk show guest who's coming to dinner. And you know what? if for those that want to tune in, how can we tune in?
Okay, I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and I also have my own Roku channel, and they're all under Jantastic Productions. So you can every Monday, every Friday at 7 p.m. and that's East Coast time because now I'm not in Las Vegas anymore. I'm East Coast over here in Louisville, Kentucky. But at 7 p.m. on Mondays and tonight at 7 p.m. tonight, I've got, like I said, I've got a outstanding attorney here in the city. His name is Jan Waddell. He's actually Muhammad Ali's cousin, her first cousin.
Oh, okay.
And he's my childhood friend. And he's very candid, and he's no holds barred. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation this evening. I said, I had to get myself ready for Mr. Waddell because he's not mincing his words at all. But we're having him on this evening. But everything is under Jantastic Productions, and people that have Roku, a Roku stick or Roku TV, you can download it on your TV just by typing in the name, so you can watch this on the big screen. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And that's Jantastic Productions with a J, not fantastic.
Right.
So I just want to make sure people do understand that Jantastic with the J.
Absolutely.
So, in the communities where there is so much fun, we do need education. We do need mentorship.
Yes.
We need programs, and we need economics.
Right.
And I remember you saying that there's a program there that after your child has been in trouble, then you can contact them. But yes, you're right. We need something that redirects the youth's attention before they get into trouble.
Right. It's really for the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
But how do you? Okay, I agree. It's the parents, right? But
no, the program is for the parents.
How can I teach what? Okay. The program is for the parents.
Right.
Okay. But as a parent, how do I teach what I don't know? Because you have to remember, at least when I was growing up, childhood or teenage pregnancy was really, really big.
Right.
And it's probably not as prevalent now. I don't know because you don't see it as much as you did back in the 80s and 90s. At least I haven't. But, I've heard stories of some of the teenagers. But how do you teach somebody what they don't know?
Well, what it is if we just have to get the information out into the public, out to the community. Mm-hmm. Parents, if you're having problems, if your child is having problems, it even starts at school, the bullying, because the gangs go to school. Mm-hmm. These kids are school-age kids. So they go to school. The parents just need to know where they can go to get help. The parents know if their child is doing, their behavior is not the norm, that they may need to go talk to somebody that can direct them where to go get the help. The parents have got to be more proactive on parenting their child than just sitting and watching, saying, I didn't know what to do. That I don't know what to do means go find some place. Somebody can tell you, some social services in the Black community. There's somebody somewhere that knows someplace you can go and talk to somebody, or somebody that may even come and talk to your child for you. You got to seek it out. These millennials, they're not taking it like we took it back in the day. They saying, this is kind of do or die. They're not going through this all the rest of their life and have all their children go through it. But, you've got to be proactive if you want to save your child's life, period.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're definitely right. Hey, you guys, I'm Cheryl Lightford with Like It Is Radio. I am speaking to Miss Janis Carter. She is a musician and activist. She's a talk show host. Guess who's coming to dinner? And prior to her, I had a conversation with the legal redress chair committee, licensed attorney in Ohio, Miss Sherry Royster. We talked about what the NAACP is doing. I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend. Definitely catch me back here on Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. right here at KCEP. But before we leave, I want to ask you, Ms. Carter, if you don't mind, can you please leave us with a little something?
What I'll leave you with is what I say a lot on my show, is if you remember the movie Jerry Maguire, the hook, the most profound statement in that movie is not show me the money. It is not. It is help me, help you, to help me, to help you, to help me, to help you. And if we do that, and make that the vicious circle of helping each other, then we can make some changes come about. But we can't help each other if we don't participate. You got to step out of your comfort zone. My Black community all over this country got to step out your comfort zones and help one another.
Absolutely. Go back to it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely.
30 seconds.
Thank you for having me on.
So we have absolutely we have just a few seconds left. Can you leave us with a little something to remember? Can you give us some of your musical genius?
20 seconds.
Black brothers,
a little something.
How I love you. There is no one above you. I want you to know that I am here for you forever true because you are my black brother. How I love you. Hope that'll work.